Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, Chris van Biljon, who's been on this channel in live streams several times over the last year, has just released an urgent press release. And of course, he's from Boere Droogtehulp, who does amazing work delivering feed to the drought-stricken areas. Now, before I read you this press release, please, just recall that a few weeks ago, David Mabuza, the Deputy President of South Africa, proclaimed that 30 million rand would be made available to help get feed to the drought-affected areas in the Northern Cape. My information is that nothing has happened. Someone's probably pocketed that money on the way through. None of that money has actually got to anybody. Now, why is this important? Because the actual question was raised in Parliament back in August of Mabuza about what he was doing about in the Northern Cape. And he said, oh, I'll go and check it out. And he then only did that 2 months later, despite the despair that these farmers are facing. Now, I'm going to read Chris's press release because it's important we put it on the record. He says, urgent plea for help, daily death of livestock due to drought in Northern Cape. As a fellow South African citizen, I can no longer sit back as thousands of livestock dies daily from starvation at an alarmingly rapid rate, whilst a large portion of our nation continues with their daily life either out of ignorance or because the full story is not being told. Right now I'm making it my personal mission to ensure the state of emergency is no longer shoved to the side, and I will do everything I possibly can to help awareness about this prolonged drought that seems to be very much under wraps. And of course the fake mainstream media are not reporting on this in South Africa. It is absolutely disgusting. But they'll report on a little bag that had orange, white and blue and make a big story about that. You know, it is totally incongruous, the way they report. It is just totally out of kilter. Clearly their narrative is not in the interests of South Africa. Yeah, shame on you, media in South Africa. Anyway, he goes on to say, do you know thousands of cattle are giving birth to offspring that are already dead, and then in the process they die themselves due to immense exhaustion. Our average farmer generally farms around 5,000 cattle. Most only have approximately 500 left. That is 10% of their cattle. 90% is gone because of death due to starvation or urgent sale before the cows or sheep die. Now, I would add to that, and it's what the fellow from the TLU said the other day, is the meat prices next year are just going to go right through the roof. And it's not a prediction, it's a fact. I can tell you right now, because even if rains come, these farmers are going to be keeping all their livestock to try and rebuild. So there's going to be no animals being sent to the abattoir. So red meat is going to be in very, very, very short supply in South Africa next year. There's absolutely no question about that. And just watch the prices. Anyway, Chris goes on to say, our meat is diminishing. It won't be long and we will no longer have anything left. The remaining 10% of cattle left needs to be kept for breeding. However, they are on the brink of dying as well. Some affected farmers' children are being taken out of boarding school as they can no longer afford to pay school fees. During the last 7 years of this drought, 100 farmers committed suicide. Get that? 100 farmers have committed suicide. More farmers have committed suicide than there have been farm murders in South Africa. And if you think of the percentage per 100,000, when you look at farm murders, you're talking an extraordinary number of people who are just giving up. It's really tragic. And he goes on to say 3 were in the last month in September 2019. Nothing is written about it. Nothing is mentioned by the fake news media. Should we be blessed with a rainy season, it will take approximately 5 years for land to be fully recovered, and before the rangelands will be ready for cattle to graze again. Stock farmers have access to very limited food supply from natural rangelands. Borehole levels in many areas are dropping significantly. Farmers are so indebted that they cannot secure loans to keep their farms running. 62,000 jobs throughout the province of the Northern Cape are currently at risk. And according to the TLU, behind every single person who's working, there's on average 5 people, depending on that income. So you're talking about just in the Northern Cape alone, getting close to 500,000 people are going to be starving if they go unemployed. This is a disaster, and the ANC are just looking the other way. Declaration of district and provincial disasters have been made before, but the funding model that comes with it has been inadequate. According to the DA leader, Musi Mamamani, the funding typically helps farmers for about 3 months, after which time they again have to fend for themselves, as disaster proclamations and drought relief expires after 3 months, he explained. In essence, there has been and still are efforts being made, but it's not enough and time is running out. Some large organizations have been contacted, but they don't want to get involved as the topic is seen as controversial. Can you believe it? Well, shame on you. Can you look yourself in the mirror or sleep at night knowing that you're doing nothing to help? Hear our cry for help. 1. If you're a radio station, please help us by creating awareness on air. 2. If you're a newspaper publication, please help us by creating awareness by sharing the word. If you're a large organization, please help with a donation for animal feed. If you're a business person or person with influence, please help us by reaching out to your network and contacts. If you feel you are nobody, just like me, please help by sharing this information. Now, I'm going to put Chris's information directly below this video, as well as his Boere Droogtehulp banking details. And if you can help, please don't hesitate, because you know, anyone who's had white ants come into their house know what it's all about. I had white ants in my house here in Brisbane about 6 years ago. And what actually happened was that I had no idea that the white ants were in there. And they were hollowing out the walls, you know, and it was all hidden. And this is what's happening in the farming scene right now in these drought-affected areas. You got people living in the cities completely unaware of what is happening outside there on the farms. And you know, when a white ant plague comes into your house, they can destroy your house like that within a few months. And that's where you're sitting right now with the drought situation in South Africa. And this ANC government, it's sitting on its hands. They are cleaning up. The corruption has not stopped. The way they are just rorting money from the public purse, it will just continue. And they have absolutely no interest in helping the farmers in reality. That's where the L factor is missing, because in another 6 months to a year, they're going to be the ones crying in their pretzels when they're paying huge amounts to get some red meat and other staple crops too. It is an absolute tragedy in the waiting. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, stay safe. Bye for now.